Noah Kepler nonchalantly brushed a speck of synthetic coffee from his faded jumpsuit as the station's intercom screeched to life. A droning voice proclaimed the imminent arrival of yet another Regal inspection cruiser, eliciting the standard widespread grumble from the mechanics bay employed at the Helios Drift trading outpost. A questionably legal venture situated on the galaxy's edge translated to frequent invasions from pompous species that viewed humans as advanced novelties. Another sunrise, another extraterrestrial elite certain to pollute their invaluable genetic legacy. Zach, the six-limbed Varaxian, grumbled, occupying Noah's station. One would presume they possess loftier pursuits than pestering a humble repair station. Noah simply shrugged, refocusing on the failing gravity modulator. Humanity's presence within the interstellar consortium spanned a mere 8 decades. Nascent newcomers juxtaposed against the ancient empires that governed the galactic wormhole nexus. These wormhole thrones, as they were popularly dubbed, truly held dominion, enabling instantaneous interstellar transit. Spanning interstellar realms, these precious wormholes, intensely coveted, were defended by ancient dynasties with millennial bloodlines now encountered. The Lenari, led by Grex, their tentacled overseer gliding across the ceiling, amidst royal guards, citing air management concerns, demanding total compliance. Noah, unimpressed, knew the Lenari Dominion commanded 7 crucial Cygnus Arm wormholes, their shimmering skin and bioluminescence earning them the Shining Court moniker. Typical royalty, they viewed humans with thinly veiled contempt. These upstart species aren't fit to wield faster-than-light tech. They're practically giving away credits. 10. A pop for a DNA swab. Grex chuckled, his mandibles twitching. Pure profit for proving you're not their long-lost prince. I'll decline, Noah retorted, engrossed in recalibrating the modulator's quantum lock at 32. He'd meticulously crafted a mundane existence after his research vessel's devastating implosion 2 years prior. A disaster that haunted his dreams with relentless intensity, and 3 months vanished from his mind. He embraced a tranquil life on the periphery, devoid of entanglements, obligations, and disruptions. Zach prodded him with a chitinous appendage. Come on, Kepler. 10 credits buys real booze, not this synthetic garbage. Besides, the Lenari detest humans like a pandemic. The scans a blink. Against his instincts, Noah joined the crew queue. Hours later, the Royal Guards, statuesque, graceful Lenari, their complexions shifting from pearl to azure, streamlined the procedure with ceremonial flair. Armor couldn't mask their palpable unease amid a throng of species they deemed beneath them. Noah's turn arrived. The guard spared him a cursory glance, gesturing tersely toward a hovering orb. Scanner, palm down. Hold still. Noah pressed his hand to the cool surface, a faint hum resonating as it sampled his cells. He'd undergone this routine countless times at checkpoints, standard protocol for monitoring species migration within regulated sectors. Next, the guard snapped, barely waiting for the scan to complete. Noah had already averted his gaze when the orb abruptly surged with a crimson light, unleashing an ear-splitting shriek that petrified every Larari present. The scanning device ascended, casting a holographic projection of intricate genetic codes, alien to Noah's understanding, but visibly unsettling to the guards. Initiate lockdown protocol, barked the lead guard, now acutely vigilant. No vessels are to leave. Secure this human subject. Two guards instantly positioned themselves on either side of Noah, their ornate staffs transforming into potent energy weapons. The lead guard advanced toward Violet, eyes sharpened with incredulity. DNA matched 99.9%. He scanned the screen. Subject: royal lineage confirmed. Status: betrothed via blood contract. Heir: identified. Noah. He stammered, "There's a grave error. I'm merely human, not Lenari." The guard's face morphed into awe, mingled with dread. "The sovereign sequence defies species. Human, you bear the royal blood. This dictates you're not only royalty, but betrothed by ancient right to House Caltherion." The guard hesitated. Examining another readout, you have made a ripple of disbelief washed over Noah as he grappled with the revelation. "Utterly impossible. I've never so much as encountered a Lenari noble, much less..." He faltered, the truth dawning. "And I certainly have no offspring." The scanner pulsed again, displaying a contract etched in elegant Lari script, accompanied by irrefutable genetic markers. The guards exchanged knowing looks. "The blood contract stands," the lead guard declared gravely. "The princess must be informed immediately." Immediately, Noah unexpectedly found himself escorted, not precisely arrested, but definitely not at liberty to leave, to the station administrator's office. The anxious draconian official swiftly cleared the room as the Lenari guards entered, Noah in tow. "I demand an explanation," Noah exclaimed, recovering his voice. "This is unequivocally a technical malfunction. The sovereign sequence is irrefutable," the lead guard retorted. "The scanner has positively identified you as possessing the royal genetic signature. This is utterly remarkable. Its appearance in a human is virtually unheard of." Before Noah could, as the office doors parted, Lenari guards instantly prostrated themselves, heads lowered in respect. Noah pivoted, encountering a captivating Lenari woman whose radiant skin shimmered with intricate light patterns. Unlike the guard's pearly blue hue, her skin flowed through profound violet and indigo tones, denoting her royal status. Her elegant armor displayed insignia that even Noah recognized as representing the highest tier of Lenari society. However, it was her eyes, vibrant violet with silver flecks, hinting at an impossible familiarity, that utterly captivated him. Even more unsettling was the diminutive figure lurking behind her, a child, barely 5, boasting an opalescent complexion far paler than the royal Larari, and eyes mirroring Noah's unique hazel swirls. "Princess Solari," the lead guard declared, "we've discovered the prophesied missing genetic signature. This human embodies the sovereign sequence." The princess scrutinized Noah with a piercing gaze, sparking unease within him. Fleeting recognition danced across her face, swiftly veiled by her regal facade. "Leave us," she directed, her voice commanding, to the guards, who, after a momentary pause, obeyed. Once the doors were sealed, Princess Solari advanced. "Noah Kepler," she uttered, his name gliding effortlessly from her tongue. "The cosmos possesses uncanny methods of reuniting destinies once torn asunder." Noah gazed at her, then at the child, now observing him with open fascination. "You recognize my name?" Her demeanor softened subtly. "Indeed, we've encountered one another previously, though you might not recall. The neurological impact from the wormhole's implosion was substantial." A shiver traced Noah's spine. Wormhole implosion. The words sparked a fragmented memory. Sirens screaming, reality shattering around him, and piercing, violet eyes. Gripped by dread, my research vessel was ensnared within an unsanctioned wormhole experiment. Solari concluded, "You were the sole survivor, though drastically altered. Your recollections of the preceding quarter have vanished." Noah's attention returned to the child, drawing nearer, scrutinizing him with a preternatural awareness. The resemblance was now undeniable. His mother's singular eye design, the jawline structure tempered by Lari features. "Per the blood pact," Solari stated rigidly, "the holder of the sovereign sequence is my ordained soulmate and progenitor of my offspring." "Unfeasible," Noah breathed, yet the evidence was undeniable. "Her designation is Luma Salari," she declared, gently shielding the child. "She's 5 standard cycles, conceived while you secretly recuperated on Calarion." Luma, the child, advanced, extricating herself from her mother's hold. Tiny fingers reached, pausing near Noah's visage. "You bear the celestial markings," she intoned in flawless English, her voice a melodious cadence. "Her mother's essence lingers in your eyes, much like my own," Noah realized as he knelt to the child's height, letting her study his face. "This defies logic," he muttered, more to himself than to Solari. "I'd recall. Wormhole radiation compromised your hippocampus," Solari clarified. "Memories might resurface eventually, or vanish forever. Yet genetic reality remains undeniable." She advanced, her movement refined despite the armor. "By ancient decree, activation of the sovereign sequence triggers the blood contract. You are irrevocably bound to House Caltharion, to me, and acknowledged as father to the winds." Noah recoiled sharply, retreating. "I refuse to be shackled by agreements I didn't consent to, or decrees I disregard. This is preposterous." Solari's face grew stern. "Do you believe this is my aspiration? For my daughter's sire to be immortal, oblivious to her very being? For the Wormhole Throne's inheritor to be a hybrid, barely tolerated in the cosmos?" She lowered her voice, laced with urgency. "My brother, Lord Veer, has governed as regent since my father's demise. Should he discover Luma's authentic lineage, he will unleash the purity mandates. Do you comprehend the gravity?" "What it signifies, Noah," she articulated, "is his impending endeavor to dissolve the blood contract and obliterate any potential menace to his dominion." Her gaze shifted significantly toward Luma. "Any potential menace?" The veiled insinuation hung heavy. He would endanger a child, his own niece. "Hybrid offspring are without precedent within the royal lineage," Solari stated somberly, "and my brother's archaic perspectives are notorious. Luma embodies his deepest apprehensions: transformation, erosion of authority, the enigma." Noah scrutinized the child once more, met by an unnerving, unwavering stare. Irrespective of the reality of his history with Solari, a naive girl was now imperiled by a bloodline she hadn't chosen, a legacy that haunted her. "His blood apparently decides everything now," he questioned, the inquiry surprising even himself. "Now we return to Calarion," Solari responded. "The sequence is live. The throne must acknowledge." Noah felt his meticulously crafted ordinary existence collapsing. "And if I refuse?" The princess's skin deepened to indigo, an uncontrollable surge of emotion. "Then my brother faces no legal barriers to execute us all and seize power permanently." Voice laced with urgency. "Noah, I'm not demanding you recall our shared history. I'm imploring you to safeguard our daughter. Our daughter. The words lingered, palpable between them, an improbable truth becoming inescapable. Noah's gaze flickered to Luma, now silently captivated by a view screen displaying the starfield beyond the station. He observed the screen's controls reacting to her mere presence, zooming and panning with no physical contact, a maternal inheritance. I require a moment to fully comprehend this, Noah declared, his voice hushed. Time is the ultimate commodity we're desperately short on, Solari retorted. My brother's informants will relay sequence initiation within a handful of hours. Caltharion and the Wormhole Throne's sanctuary are paramount before he cuts us off. Noah raked a hand through his dark hair, a telltale sign of stress. You're demanding I forsake my entire existence, predicated on a DNA analysis and a kid with my face. I'm a total stranger to you. Something flashed across Solari's features. Maybe heartache. Maybe acceptance. Not always, she whispered, voice cracking slightly. I'm not demanding your affection, Noah Kepler. I'm imploring you to uphold a sacred duty, safeguarding innocent lives. Surely humanity still cherishes that. Before Noah could react, his comm buzzed. Supervisor Grex's frantic voice boomed, Royal Guards scour the bay, probing your accident, your health, whatever irked the Lari. Resolve it now, or vanish swiftly. Noah's gaze shifted from the communicator to Solari, then settled on Luma, who had rejoined her mother. The girl's face held an ageless wisdom and a poignant vulnerability that resonated within him. What's our departure, ETA? He pressed Solari. A wave of relief washed over the princess, evident in the brightening of her skin. My private transport awaits at the diplomatic bay. We can leave right away. Readying to depart the office, Luma, with startling spontaneity, clasped Noah's hand, her tiny fingers a cool contrast against his skin. This simple act of trust, offered by a child he'd just encountered, but who, unbelievably, shared his blood, ignited an undeniable wave of protectiveness within him. Will you regale me with tales of Earth? She inquired as they strolled. Mother describes it as enveloped in liquid water, adorned by a solitary moon. Is that the unvarnished truth? Despite it all, a smile touched Noah's lips. Indeed, and there's far more I could reveal. Princess Solari observed their exchange, her expression inscrutable. Whatever memories he'd misplaced, whatever truths their past held, the course ahead now felt inevitable. His existence had been permanently reshaped by a mere genetic scan, and the child now clutching his hand as if it were second nature. As they ascended the royal transport, Noah stole one last look at Helios Drift Station. The mundane existence he'd meticulously crafted now dwindled, both physically and metaphorically. Before him lay Lake Caltharion, a cosmic gateway, and a destiny etched into his DNA he could never have foreseen. The princess's vessel cleaved through the inky void, its cutting-edge propulsion system resonating with a potency unimaginable for civilian vehicles. Noah, seated in the passenger cabin, observed the stellar tapestry blur past, grappling to reconcile his life of just hours prior with this extraordinary predicament. Luma slumbered peacefully across two seats, her petite figure gently undulating with each respiration. In slumber, her likeness to him became strikingly apparent. The determined angle of her jaw, the faint line between her eyebrows, which his mother insisted signaled a born fighter, even in infancy. Salari entered with hushed steps, her formal battle attire swapped for a tailored jumpsuit that whispered of her regal bearing through understated emblems and the sheer luxury of its fabric. She watched Luma for a fleeting moment before settling into the chair across from Noah. The neural dampeners should ensure her peaceful rest until our destination, she murmured. Traversing the wormhole can be quite unsettling for young ones. Noah continued to study the sleeping child, Princess's face, probing for any trace of deceit. I need the complete story. How we connected, the entire 3-month period, every detail. Solari's gaze unwavering. Our paths crossed when your research vessel suffered an ambush by wormhole marauders. You were investigating spatial irregularities near the Caltheran nexus, technically beyond Lenari jurisdiction, but within interception range of the distress signal. Pirates? Noah's brow furrowed. The official account cited navigational malfunction, a politically expedient cover to avert diplomatic fallout. Solari affirmed. The stark reality: your ship inadvertently discovered a clandestine wormhole exploitation scheme. Pirates attacked to silence all witnesses. Glimpses of fractured memories resurface in Noah's mind. Blaring alarms, the ship violently shaking as defenses crumbled, a frantic scramble for escape pods. However, no recollection of a rescue or a Lurari princess. I was engaged in a classified operation, Salari pressed on, pursuing the pirates who were surreptitiously siphoning energy from our protected wormholes. Upon receiving your ship's SOS, I intervened. The pirates then initiated a wormhole implosion to obscure their getaway, leaving you. The escape pod succumbed to a gravitational anomaly, and you saved me, Noah surmised, connecting the dots. Salari's complexion deepened to cerulean. Indeed, but transporting a wounded human to Caltherion would have sparked a diplomatic crisis, exposing my clandestine assignment. So I brought you to a discreet medical haven on our tertiary moon, where I remained for 3 months. Noah inquired dubiously, where you nursed me back from intense neurological trauma. She clarified, the wormhole implosion emitted unusual radiation. Human biology is ill-equipped to withstand it. Noah, the trauma to your memory core was significant. He leaned in. During those intense 3 months, we connected deeply, fell passionately in love, and conceived our child, all while you were regaining your cognitive functions from that brain injury. Solari's aura flickered, maybe with a hint of irritation. Your healing was progressive. The amnesia was detected promptly, yet beyond that, your cognitive abilities remained impressively sharp following the initial weeks. Her tone gentled. We engaged in extensive discussions concerning wormhole mechanics, leveraging your expertise. You were instrumental in deciphering how the pirates were taking advantage of vulnerabilities within our network. That still doesn't fully account for it, Noah countered, gesturing. Approaching the dormant Luma. No, that's incorrect. Solari concurred. The underlying explanation is substantially more intricate. She paused, meticulously choosing her words. Lenari royalty boasts an exceptional biological trait, a quantum entanglement at the cellular level. This allows us to interface directly with wormhole technology. It's precisely what renders the royal bloodline so precious, so fiercely guarded. And inexplicably, I share this attribute, despite my human origins. Not entirely. During your medical intervention, we detected aberrations within your genetic makeup, markers that echoed with our sovereign's own. Sequence, yet unseen in humans, deemed theoretically impossible. Noah shuddered. So I was an experiment. A mystery, Solari amended. One that grew profoundly captivating as we collaborated, becoming deeply personal. You mean we fell for each other? Connections flourish in exceptional conditions, she replied, that might never arise in conventional existence. Her stare was intense. The blood contract wasn't premeditated. It manifested during a celestial alignment. Ceremony you witnessed with me, such pacts are deemed inviolable, forged upon an authentic genetic harmony, usually exclusive to profoundly kindred souls. Noah, increasingly vexed, raked his fingers through his hair. So, in a ceremony I can't recall, I unwittingly entered a binding genetic covenant with an extraterrestrial princess. You freely offered your essence to the convergence altar, Solari intoned softly. The pact materialized because the harmony was genuine, and Luma, at this juncture, Solari's composure faltered subtly, came into existence just before the culmination of neural regeneration therapy, a procedure unfortunately accompanied by the erasure of your Caltherion memories. How very convenient, Noah murmured dryly. Do you honestly believe I desired this? Solari retorted, her complexion darkening with repressed emotion. To birth a child whose father couldn't recall her existence, to conceal my daughter's legacy from my own kin, to endure the constant knowledge that the man... She paused, swiftly regaining composure. The treatment was essential for your survival. The amnesia was an inescapable byproduct. Noah gazed at her, attempting to harmonize the fervor in her tone with his utter emotional detachment. Why didn't you reach out after I re-entered human space? Tragically, my father passed suddenly. My brother usurped power, imposed the purity mandates, and hunted any perceived threat. She glanced at Luma. I needed to safeguard her. Contacting you would have directly endangered us both. Then what shifted? Why this revelation now? Solari's face darkened. The Wormhole Throne is collapsing, lacking a legitimate heir to connect with it. The network is teetering, with 2 minor wormhole collapses already. Should the Caloran Nexus fail, half the galaxy will lose its vital transport routes. And Luma, is she truly the heir? She possesses both the sovereign sequence and your distinct genetic markers. This combination allows for a more profound interface with wormhole technology than purely Lenari genetics. She is essentially an evolutionary leap, precisely what my brother dreads. Noah gazed anew at the slumbering child, the gravity of this revelation washing over him. Not only was she undeniably his daughter, but she also marked a transformative epoch in inter-species advancement, wielding dominion over the galaxy's core transit system. What transpires upon our arrival at Caltherion? He queried, eventually. We proffer ourselves before the Wormhole Throne. Should it validate Luma's claim, even Ver cannot legitimately contest her succession as heir. You and I, as her progenitors, shall function as regents until she attains adulthood. Conversely, should the throne reject her, Salary's countenance deepened, then we will have unwittingly delivered ourselves straight into my brother's clutches. Before Noah could retort, the vessel's alert system, a holographic display, sprang to life, showcasing several vessels on a swift intercept trajectory. Enforcement cruisers, Solari declared, rising rapidly. They're moving with unforeseen speed. They're already pursuing us. Noah questioned, also standing. The sequence activation would have been instantly flagged. These vessels were likely pre-positioned, awaiting the trigger. Solari hastened toward the cockpit. "We must reach the wormhole before they cripple our propulsion." Noah trailed behind, casting a worried glance at Luma, who remained motionless. Slept soundly. What if they apprehend us? Solari's nimble hands danced across the ship's console, diverting power and refining their course. Optimistically, we scatter, and you're returned to human territory with fabricated memories. Pessimistically, she locked eyes with him momentarily. Genetic harvesting culminated by execution for blatant treason against the sovereign bloodline. The vessel shuddered as Solari stressed the engines beyond prescribed safety margins. The encroaching ships loomed larger on the aft monitors. "Can I offer any assistance?" Noah inquired, instinctively latching onto a safety rail as the artificial gravity wavered. Solari gestured towards the weapons console. "You showed promise in the simulator. The core principles remain unchanged." "I recall no training with Lari weaponry," Noah voiced his concern. "Muscle memory often persists even with explicit memories fading." Solari retorted, executing an intricate evasive maneuver. "Rely on your instincts." Noah cautiously assumed the secondary position, astonished by the intuitive familiarity of the controls. The targeting system felt profoundly familiar under his touch. "Defensive fire exclusively," Solari ordered. "Our goal is simply to prevent tractor beam engagement until Wormhole Access lead pursuit craft issued a cautionary burst across their trajectory. Common protocol before initiating crippling strikes." Noah focused on their armaments, deploying an expertly tuned pulse that scrambled targeting without physical harm. "Impressive." Solari voiced candid astonishment. Noah gazed at his hands, then at the positive target verification. "Simulator time well spent, I guess." "Close to 90 hours intensive training," Solari reaffirmed. "Focus." "Split between piloting and overseeing the pursuit ship. You mentioned it aided your neural regeneration, forging fresh connections." Another memory flickered. Joyous laughter in a softly lit space. The satisfying weariness post-training. Radiant violet eyes regarding him. Respect evolving into affection. "Wormhole ahead," Solari declared, jolting him back. "Prepare for intense acceleration." The vessel lunged onward, pushing its very limits as they hurtled toward the colossal energy vortex, gateway to the Caltheran wormhole. Behind them, the hunter ships unleashed a furious barrage, abandoning any pretense of restraint and aiming directly for our engines. "They're hammering our engines," Noah exclaimed, retaliating with defensive energy bursts. "They can't afford to obliterate us," Solari stated grimly. "They must erase us discreetly, not ignite a rebellion." The wormhole grew immense, its mesmerizing and dreadful vortex of energy beckoning us forward. As they hurtled closer, Noah experienced an odd harmony, a tug not only on the ship, but also on his very essence. "Are you feeling that?" he questioned, turning to Solari. Abruptly, the wormhole acknowledged them, reacting to their sequence. Before Noah could fully grasp the situation, an explosion jolted the vessel, alarms erupting across the console. "Port stabilizer critically impaired," Solari declared, her fingers flying across the controls. "Initiating wormhole transit with precarious navigation." The chaotic energy engulfed the ship, distorting reality around them. Noah experienced a terrifyingly familiar sensation, an intensified version of the disorienting pull from his haunting nightmares. His vision swam, his awareness faltering as 2957. The wormhole's exotic energies resonated with his aberrant genetic code, triggering a cascade of sensations too complex to process. The final image etched into Noah's fading consciousness was Solari, her radiant features etched with concern as she reached out to him. And with eerie certainty, he knew this moment had played out before. Noah awoke to a gentle, haunting melody, unlike any human composition he had ever known. As his senses returned, he opened his eyes to a vast chamber suffused with ambient light, not from fixtures, but pulsing softly from the very walls. The design was unmistakably Lhari, fluid architecture shaped with organic grace, every curve and surface whispering of a civilization far beyond human understanding. The light shimmered, colors intensified, as he turned and found the singing. Luma, perched serenely near his bed, voice weaving a haunting tune. Seeing him, she paused. "You're awake," she stated. Mother explained that the wormhole's energy, interacting with your star-marked blood, induced a deep slumber. Noah. He gingerly sat up, profoundly relieved to discover no immediate injuries, despite the turbulent wormhole transit. "Where are we? Where is your mother?" Luma responded from the sanctuary spire on Caltharion, approaching his bedside with refreshing candor. "Mother confers with the elders," she stated. "My duty is to oversee you until your disorientation subsides." Noah scrutinized the girl, clearly his offspring, under Caltharion's ideal illumination. Her blended traits were now unmistakable. A subtly stronger jawline compared to standard Larari, deeper hues framing her radiant patches, and most strikingly, his own hazel eyes embedded within the opalescent complexion inherited from her mother's lineage. "How long was I out?" he inquired. "2 cycles," Luma replied, tentatively extending a hand to his arm, her fingers tracing his skin with fascination. "Your epidermis radiates more heat than mine. Is that a consequence of your human physiology?" Noah concurred, finding himself dynamically adjusting to facilitate her assessment. "Humans possess elevated core temperatures compared to Lenari," she declared with unwavering certainty. "I've immersed myself in xenobiology. Mother insists I comprehend both facets of my being." This offhand remark from the precocious 5-year-old stunned Noah. "You're delving into xenobiology," Luma affirmed with gravity. "And even wormhole physics, though the formulas remain challenging. Mother posits, my cognitive processes operate uniquely, accelerating in specific domains, owing to the integration of human neural pathways." Before Noah could formulate a rejoinder, this profound insight into his daughter's meteoric progression saw the chamber's entrance dramatically unfold, revealing Solari, now adorned in majestic royal regalia that accentuated her elevated rank. The cascading robes featured a sculpted shoulder element, akin to battle armor, yet retained a refined elegance. Trailing her were 2 venerable Lenari, their deeper azure pigmentation and intricate facial patterns denoting their advanced standing. "The human is conscious," remarked one of the elders, her voice measured yet her stare intense. "And the child displays unwavering trust." As I elucidated, honored Elder Salieri responded with utmost respect. "The blood pact remains." Binding. The connection is undeniable. The second elder advanced towards Noah, scrutinizing him with blatant scientific fascination. "Remarkable, this genetic signature has never appeared outside the Lenari lineage. However, the identifiers are conclusive," he addressed Solari. You should have presented him for study without delay. Political realities rendered that unfeasible. Elder Van Salary countered, as you are acutely cognizant. Feeling sidelined while seated, Noah asserted, I'd be grateful if you refrained from discussing me as though I were invisible. The elders traded glances, evidently taken aback by his candor. Salari's demeanor remained impeccably composed, yet Noah discerned a glimmer of mirth in the delicate shifts of her radiance. Assuredly, Elder Wren responded after a pause. Excuse our zeal for scientific inquiry. Noah Kepler, your very being heralds a revolutionary shift in our comprehension of the sovereign chain. So I've gathered, Noah responded, though the essence of this chain and my role within it remained somewhat elusive. The elder woman motioned towards a lounge. Perhaps a more relaxed setting would facilitate this discourse. The child needs respite. I'm not weary, Luma insisted, gravitating towards Noah. And I'm keen to learn about the chain as well. Salari approached her daughter, kneeling. Luma, what we must... This dialogue is intricate and carries risks. You must accompany caretaker Thean for the immediate future. Luma's expression hardened, displaying a familiar stubbornness. This concerns me as well. You've always said knowledge equals safety, and at times protection means being patient, Salari responded softly. I guarantee we will fully explain all the facts as soon as the circumstances are optimal. After a brief, unspoken disagreement, Luma gave a reluctant affirmative. She addressed Noah, pausing briefly before asking, Will you remain here until my return? That straightforward query was surprisingly charged with emotion, stirring feelings within Noah. Kneeling, like Salari, meeting his daughter's worried eyes. Yes, I'll stay. This seemed to reassure her. She gave a formal nod, mirroring her mother's regal poise. Luma then let an attendant lead her out. Once gone, the elder Lenari directed them to the seating. As they relaxed into the organic furniture, Noah felt the elders' intense observation, their scientific fascination barely veiled by formality. The sovereign sequence commenced. Elder Wren, it's more than just genetics, a regal hallmark far beyond human comprehension. A sophisticated quantum biological adaptation, enabling wormhole tech interface. Our forebears didn't construct the network. They unearthed it, dormant for millennia. Only sequence bearers could awaken its controls, the thrones. A key, Noah deduced, a biological access key to alien tech. Elder Van concurred. Essentially accurate. The puzzle, how did a human obtain this key? Noah faced Salari. You said, these biomarkers, unearthed during my treatment, suggest undisclosed experiments. Care to explain? The accusation echoed, Salari's composure unwavering. No unauthorized procedures transpired. This discovery perplexed my team as much as it does you. Elder Ven unveiled a device projecting intricate genetic codes. Your DNA exhibits unique markers, alien to both human and larikind. Yet astonishingly, they're integrated. This cellular sequence, engineered adaptation, not natural mutation, engineered Noah repeated. So someone deliberately tweaked my DNA? The when and how are still murky, the female elder responded. But the compelling evidence points to intentional architecture, not capricious chance. The sheer perfection is undeniable. Noah wrestled with the implications. Therefore, I'm essentially a custom-built genetic experiment designed to work in synergy with wormhole tech. Not created, Solari interjected. Enhanced. The refinements seem to have occurred during embryonic development, meticulously targeting select sequences while preserving your core humanity. Genetics untouched, explaining dormant abilities unmanifested until wormhole radiation. Exposure awakened latent sequences, Elder Wren clarified. Noah jolted, pacing. Pre-birth engineering? Accidentally activated changes? Part of ancient alien tech? Blood-bound to Caltharian? The female elder affirmed, implying it was the key. A more pressing issue is the considerable political fallout, yet politics are dwarfed by this urgent crisis, Solari asserted, rising. The wormhole network is dangerously unstable. Lacking a proper interface, 3 small nodes have already fractured this past month. Should the Caltharian nexus crumble, half of the galaxy's transport system will be decimated. And you truly believe Luma holds the key? Noah inquired, the puzzle pieces clicking into place, because she possesses the sequence and the unique modifications within my DNA. A hybrid vigor, Elder Ven. Verified, her singular genetic makeup facilitates a superior interface compared to generations of purely lenary genetics. Our initial scans reveal highly encouraging neural pathways. She's 5, Noah declared bluntly. You can't possibly contemplate entrusting a child with galaxy-spanning infrastructure. Not in charge, Solari corrected, but as a crucial stabilizing force. The throne already resonates with her genetic signature, even remotely. With appropriate mentorship. Their discourse was shattered by a jarring alarm. The chamber's illumination. The light intensified to a vibrant amber, a stark warning cutting through the air. Royal alert! Unauthorized vessels have penetrated the outer defenses. Security lockdown commencing. Salari's face grew resolute. He's outmaneuvered us, she stated firmly, addressing the elders. We must expedite the recognition ceremony now. The lead elder demurred. That's unattainable. The preparations demand a complete cycle, at minimum. We lack that luxury, Solari pressed, her voice laced with urgency. Once Vay's forces gain control of the sanctuary, he will invoke extraordinary authority to completely halt the ritual, Noah interjected. Could someone illuminate the specifics of this ceremony and its profound significance? The recognition ritual officially introduces a royal successor to the Wormhole Throne, Elder. Ven clarified swiftly. Once acknowledged by the throne itself, the successor's claim becomes untouchable, under Lenari law, surpassing even a regent's power. Absent this ceremony, Ver could legitimately dispute Luma's legitimacy. Salary amplified, or potentially denounce her as an anomaly under the stringent purity protocols. The ramifications horrified Noah. Consequently, we must devise an alternative strategy to safeguard her. A single option remains, the female elder offered, her voice tinged with apprehension. The emergency communion, a streamlined ritual reserved for critical junctures, ensuring immediate succession. It hasn't been enacted in 7 generations. Elder Ven vehemently objected. The dangers are substantial. The female elder retorted, less so than allowing Ver to seize them. Salary turned towards Noah, her face solemn. The emergency communion necessitates the complete involvement of both genetic progenitors. It demands you fully embrace your birthright and connection to the throne. To access Luma and enact the blood contract, what precise actions must I undertake? Noah inquired. Directly interface with the throne alongside me, Solari responded. Open your mind to its scanning protocols, permitting verification of our genetic heritage and the authenticity of our bond. Should these DNA modifications prove unacceptable to this ancient technology? Elder Ven's countenance turned grave. Neural feedback at that depth could be devastating. A more critical alarm blared. The announcement system declared multiple security breaches within the sanctuary. "We're out of time, Noah," Solari stated. "I cannot and will not compel this decision, yet lacking the ritual, I can't shield our daughter from the impending doom." Noah envisioned Luma, her sharp intellect, her insatiable curiosity, her instant acceptance of him, despite their history. Irrespective of my bond with Solari, or the covert genetic manipulations inflicted upon me, the girl remains blameless and undeniably mine. "Where lies the throne?" he inquired. A wave of solace swept over Solaris's countenance. "Within the central spire. We must proceed swiftly and discreetly. Ver will undoubtedly fortify the primary routes." The venerable matriarch triggered a concealed mechanism in the chamber wall, exposing a secret passage. These age-old routes bypass contemporary security measures, providing direct access to the throne room. Preparing to leave, Elder Ven entrusted Noah with a compact device, hoping it would fortify his neural pathways during the impending interface. Originally tailored for Lari physiology, it could prove beneficial given his unusual circumstances. Noah gratefully accepted the device, stowing it away. "And Luma, we must locate her." The caretaker is instructed to guide her to the throne chamber through alternate routes if an alert sounded. Solari reassured him their operative should be en route. They ventured into the clandestine passage, softly glowing bioluminescent patterns lighting their advance. Noah found himself intimately close to Salary, the cramped space heightening his awareness of her nearness. "What was the true reason for concealing her existence?" he inquired softly as they traversed the age-old corridor. "Even after my recovery and return to human space." Salary paused, several steps passing in silence, before admitting, "Primarily for her safety. Later." She hesitated. "I deluded myself into believing it was more compassionate to allow you to exist free from the burdens of duties you had no recollection of ever consenting to. Or perhaps you simply desired a human who wouldn't muddy the royal lineage," Noah speculated. Salary halted suddenly, pivoting to confront him in the cramped corridor. "If that were my motivation, I would have ended the pregnancy, sparing myself 5 years of secrecy, deceit, and unrelenting dread of exposure." Her radiance throbbed with barely concealed emotion. "I made the conscious choice to carry our child, fully aware it could jeopardize my claim to the throne, my very standing. Perhaps my existence do not dare to fathom my reasons, especially when you've forgotten our shared past." Her voice, thick with unfiltered emotion, stopped Noah cold. "I apologize," he managed after a beat. "This is just a lot." Solari's face softened a fraction. "Agreed, for both of us." She pivoted, moving ahead. "Let's press on." The corridor broadened, revealing an immense, round space. At its heart stood a peculiar construct, hard to define. This wormhole throne was not a typical chair, but an intricate arrangement of crystalline formations enveloped a suspended platform. The entire apparatus throbbed with raw energy, fluctuating between visible light and a more profound essence perceivable only to Noah. At the chamber's periphery stood the caretaker Thalen, Luma at his side, her eyes widening at their sudden arrival. The girl surged forward, breaking free and running toward them, her small form moving with the effortless grace of her matriarchal lineage. "The malevolent soldiers are imminent," she exclaimed with youthful candor. "Caretaker Thelen warned me they intend to abduct me." Solari knelt to envelop her in a comforting embrace. "Daughter, absolutely no one is taking you anywhere. We're proceeding with the full recognition ceremony." Luma's gaze drifted towards the throne, then locked onto her mother. Comprehension far beyond her tender years mirrored in her face. "But the ancient texts say it's perilous." "Sometimes safeguarding demands bold risks," Solari countered, reaffirming her previous statement. Noah knelt close, still grappling with his purpose, yet ever more dedicated to shielding this child, a carrier of his very lineage. "I vow nothing will harm you," he declared, startled by the raw conviction surging within him. Luma scrutinized him with those unsettlingly familiar eyes. "Though you may not recall me as your father." It wasn't phrased as a query, but Noah responded regardless. "No, but I earnestly desire the opportunity to evolve into someone deserving of that honor." This appeared to appease her. With a solemn grace that belied her petite frame, Luma clasped both their hands. "Then we must commence forthwith, before Uncle Ver makes his appearance." Solari guided them towards the throne's dais, swiftly briefing Noah. "The interface necessitates tactile engagement with the resonance crystals. Mimic my actions precisely, and permit the scanning." Allowing this to unfold without resistance prevents further neural trauma, and Luma. Noah inquired as their party neared the chasm. A barrier looms but remains passive until verification is finalized. Solari clarified, the throne requires parental acceptance to acknowledge the heir as they ascended the platform. The crystalline matrix pulsed with vibrant energy. Noah detected an unusual cellular harmony, as if aspects of his DNA were reacting to previously imperceptible signals. "Rest your hands here," Salary prompted, mirroring the action. Placed his hands on two crystal formations sprouting from the platform. Noah felt an immediate electrifying tingle surging up his arms, flooding his entire being. The world blurred. Reality dissolved as the throne's archaic systems meshed with his very essence. Memory fragments erupted, shattering mental barriers. The wormhole collapse that crippled his Solari royal fighter. The desperate extraction of his pod from the spatial rift. Weeks of clandestine recovery in a secluded medbay. Wormhole physics discourse. Communal dining experiences. The subtle shift from wary partnership to authentic rapport. He recalled the cosmic alignment rite, his spontaneous blood offering at the ceremonial altar next to Solaris. The startling response as their DNA harmonized flawlessly. The official pronouncement of the blood oath neither explicitly sought, yet both embraced. Subsequently, their escalating closeness. The revelation of her pregnancy, and the heart-wrenching choice to move forward with the neurological therapy to preserve his life. "Life, but banish these recollections I recall," he exhaled, the surge of rediscovered moments engulfing his awareness. Solari's tone resonated both proximally and within his consciousness. "The throne interfaces your neural networks. Yield to the process." The connection intensified, transcending mere memory recovery, probing deeper into his essence. Noah perceived his very DNA scrutinized, dissected, and evaluated by the primeval machinery. Solari felt a parallel analysis. Her radiance surged, mirroring the profound link. Luma stood serene, eyes shut, small hands gently touching the platform, linked to her parents, yet not fully merged with the throne. A palpable hum intensified within the chamber, crystalline structures vibrantly resonating. The platform ignited with patterns mirroring the sovereign sequence Elder Ven had revealed. Its active manifestation. "It's engaging!" Salari gasped, her voice strained as she held the connection. Abruptly, the chamber doors crashed open, revealing armed figures. The entrance exploded as royal guards surged forth, spearheaded by a towering Lenari male. His majestic presence and the vibrant crimson glow that infused his being unequivocally identified him as Lord Ver. In stark contrast to Salari's understated elegance, his skin shimmered with intensely assertive bursts of light. "Cease this desecration at once," he thundered, his voice resonating with undeniable power. "Remove the human and the hybrid from the hallowed throne." The sentinels faltered, visibly torn between their captain's command and disrupting a deeply sacred rite. "The recognition is commencing," Salari announced, her focus unwavering. "Intervention now desecrates the very essence of succession." Ver's face twisted in fury. "There will be no affirmation of this obscenity. The bloodline's integrity must be preserved." He snarled at the guards. "I enact the purity mandates. Expel them with extreme prejudice." As the guards hesitantly moved forward, the throne's aura surged violently. The hall erupted with radiant energy, pulsating from the platform housing Noah, Salari, and Luma. Stood bonded with archaic tech, Noah experienced an extraordinary non-corporeal jolt, a hyperdimensional link to the throne, transcending standard sensory input. That nexus illuminated the Elder's teachings, the sovereign sequence, not just genetic, but an intricate evolution for interfacing with incomprehensible technologies. The seismic revelation? He comprehended the profound essence of his personalized genetic augmentations. "It's embracing us," Salari murmured, awestruck. In her voice, as the platform below them started to float upwards, enveloping them in a safeguarding aura of energy, Ver surged ahead, brandishing a sacred weapon. "I shall not permit this. The throne must not be inherited by blood tainted by humanity." Before he could reach the platform, Luma's eyes abruptly snapped open, radiating the very same energy that enveloped them. Without interacting with the interface crystals, she simply raised her petite hands, and the throne instantly responded, the energy field expanding outwards in a modulated surge that softly but resolutely repelled Ver, and his elite guards retreated from the platform, the child interfacing without physical contact. One guard murmured, awe eclipsing his military stoicism, mirroring ancient prophecies. The chamber bathed in a profound royal purple, the hallowed hue of triumphant succession. Concealed speakers resonated with a formal Lari announcement, declaring, "Recognition attained, blood contract affirmed." The energy field imperceptibly dissolved as the interface finalized. Noah sensed his bond with the throne irrevocably forged. Fade departed, leaving him emotionally drained, yet physically unscathed. The surge of unearthed memories persisted, now assimilated into his awareness. Vey remained petrified, the ceremonial weapon still gripped in his hand, but now lowered. "Unthinkable," he muttered. "The throne cannot acknowledge tainted genetics." "The throne acknowledges what we have dismissed," Salari countered, her regal presence undeniable as she addressed her brother. "That adaptation and evolution, are assets, not vulnerabilities. Noah, still absorbing the revelation from his journey, the nexus to the throne advanced, asserting the sovereign sequence wasn't initially Lenari. He declared with unwavering conviction, "Your lineage was enhanced, much like myself, to integrate with technology they unearthed, but didn't originate." Whispers erupted among the assembled guards encircling the chamber. Veer's face twisted in furious disbelief. "Sacrilege! The sequence is the sacred emblem of royal power." "It's merely a mechanism," Noah retorted. "A genetic cipher conceived by the architects of the Wormhole network. They engineered it to be adaptable across species, driving evolution and advancement via genetic variation." Celery gently put her hand on Luma's shoulder, explaining why their daughter possessed unprecedented interface capabilities, surpassing any Lari generations the system envisioned. Hybrid adaptation took over Veer's thought as he glanced from the guards, now witnessing the scene, with wavering allegiance to the throne still resonating with the new heir's acknowledgement, and lastly toward Luma, whose petite figure stood with startling poise amidst her parents. "This is inconsequential," he spat. "The populace will never embrace a half-human child as their ruler." Upon the revelation, a commanding voice echoed from the chamber's entrance. Elder Ven strode in, flanked by his cohort and luminaries from the esteemed Lenari Scientific Council. "The throne's databanks, unlocked by the recognition ceremony, reveal unimpeachable historical truths," he announced. Activating a compact projector, displaying arcane texts and schematics, he declared, "The sovereign sequence wasn't divinely ordained. The architects of the Wormhole network meticulously crafted it, engineered for continual evolution and amplification through selective adaptation of our race. Our forebears weren't the pioneers," the matriarch emphasized. "Historical accounts imply a mandate to disseminate it amongst suitable species upon their emergence." Ver, gaze frenzied, watched his backing erode. With a final ferocious growl, he charged towards Luma, weapon brandished. "If I'm denied dominion, so shall this monstrosity." Instinctively, Noah interposed himself between the aggressor and his child. However, before Ver's strike landed, the chamber resonated with renewed energy, not originating from the throne, but from Luma herself. The girl's eyes blazed, mirroring the interface crystals, as she extended a delicate hand. A focused surge of power erupted from her palm, halting Ver mid-attack, encasing him in stasis. "The wormhole interface. It answers her directly," Elder Ven gasped, astonishment ringing in his voice. Without the throne as a conduit, Ver writhed against the unseen force, pure terror eclipsing his fury. "What is this? What has she inflicted upon me?" "Nothing to fear," Luma reassured him. A juvenile voice, yet imbued with ethereal harmonics, echoed through the hall. "You shall not inflict harm upon my kin." Witnessing this potent display, the guards instantly bowed in submission, not to Ver, but to the child wielding the very lifeblood of their civilization's might. Salari advanced, regal command radiating from her. "Lord Ver, your regency is hereby terminated. You shall be detained pending the council's judgment regarding your egregious assault on the acknowledged heir." As the bewildered ex-regent was escorted away, Luma's gaze slowly regained composure as the odd surge subsided, leaving her fatigued and unsteady. Noah steadied her tenderly as she faltered. "That was truly extraordinary," he whispered, "and a touch unsettling." Luma glanced up, momentarily transforming back into a weary child. I had no idea I possessed such capabilities. It simply unfolded. Solari approached, her anxiety palpable. The interface presents uniquely in her. We must guide her mastery. Noah inquired, the gravity of events now dawning on him. Solari locked eyes with him. That hinges on you. Luma's place is absolute, irrespective of our desires. Noah gazed at the child he held, his daughter, her eyes reflecting immense power. Then at Solari, their shared memories flooding back, their bond, their choices, their parting. I lost 5 years, he stated, finally. I crave a chance to reclaim them. Before Solari could retort, Elder Ven interjected, barely concealing his scholarly fervor. System-wide archives are activating. The Throne's databanks hold intel on the architects and their wormhole network's purpose. Solari questioned, their purpose? The Elder clarified, the network wasn't intended for unilateral control. The code fostered diversification and adaptation, building interfaces across evolving, compatible species. We've realized what was interpreted as royal succession was in essence an advanced evolutionary tech-sharing network. Noah chuckled, finding irony in that the bedrock of royal houses and bloodline politics was a colossal misinterpretation of the technology's true intent. Elder Ven affirmed the wormholes were intended as a communal resource, with control shared amongst suitable species, not monopolized by privileged bloodlines. Solari absorbed this bombshell. Centuries of Lenari tradition dismantled in an instant. The Council will require considerable time to validate these discoveries and decide how to proceed. Its impact on leadership, Noah inquired, and Solari responded, her gaze tender as she observed their daughter. We have a child to nurture, a being who embodies the future within her essence. Subsequently, the revelation of the Throne's true nature reverberated across Caltharian and beyond. Archaic texts validated Noah's interface vision, the sovereign sequence, an adaptable key, crafted for evolution via managed genetic variants, not isolation. Pristine lineages carried immense political weight, with royal families galaxy-wide confronting analogous unveilings as their thrones unearthed previously obscured historical records. Interstellar politics' bedrock, blood-linked control of wormhole tech, was undergoing a seismic shift. A week post-coronation, Noah surveyed Caltharian's capital from a balcony. The alien vista remained surreal, yet restored memories slightly alleviated his disorientation. Behind him, the royal suite's door glided open. As Solari connected, the Provisional Council has finalized its resolution, she stated, her measured delivery contrasting with her radiant warmth. They're forming a wormhole regulatory commission, encompassing delegates from every major species utilizing the web, humans included. Noah inquired, specifically humans. Solari affirmed with a slight grin, your species' remarkable resilience and innovative solutions are now prized assets given our grasp of the web's evolutionary blueprint. Noah considered this news, absorbing both the revelation and its implications. About us, Luma Solari shifted to stand nearer him, yet not making contact. Luma will necessitate instruction to master her interface talents. The Council acknowledges her singular standing, yet has concurred she deserves a childhood prior to assuming any official obligations. That's remarkably fair-minded. They're, at their core, scientists, Solari responded. Below the layers of customs and rituals, they prize wisdom and advancement. She paused, then proceeded, "Concerning us that hinges on your desires, Noah." He pivoted to confront her entirely. "I now possess a treasure trove of memories, emotions, and adventures, yet they resonate as if they transpired to a different soul entirely. I am no longer the individual who forged that crimson pact with you." "I comprehend," Solari voiced, her disappointment betrayed only by the almost imperceptible dimming of her radiance. "You possess a life to reclaim, Luma, and I shall ensure that." "That is not my meaning," Noah interjected softly. "I suggest that we cannot simply resume our journey from the point of our departure. An immeasurable transformation has taken place." He inhaled deeply. "Perhaps we could initiate a novel chapter, one founded upon sincerity, without concealment. Secrets, royal duties, or inherited fate." Solari's face flickered with a hopeful uncertainty. "You truly wish to remain?" "I long to know my daughter," Noah declared, "and perhaps rediscover you, not as a princess shackled by duty, but as the woman you once were." Before Solari could speak, the apartment door swung open. Luma, a whirlwind of youthful energy, burst in, practically buzzing with anticipation. "Father, Mother, Elder Ven says," she exclaimed, "I'm cleared to assist in calibrating the auxiliary wormhole today." She slid to a halt between them, her gaze darting back and forth. Eyes that see beyond. Engaging in a crucial adult discussion? Noah smiled, charmed by her vibrant enthusiasm. "Precisely. Charting our trajectory, our future." Solari added, eyes locking with Noah's, unspoken queries swirling. Luma surveyed them, then nodded, pleased. "Excellent. I informed Elder Ven we require a genuine familial bond to solidify the interface harmonics." She tugged Noah's hand. "Witness the novel calibration chamber, attuned to our collective genetic imprint." As he relented, guided by his exceptional daughter. Noah's gaze met Solari's beyond Luma, the princess. "No," the woman responded, her smile intimate, solely for him. Irrespective of the bizarre genetic chance or destiny uniting them, regardless of the political chaos their alliance sparked, their journey was now free from royal decrees or age-old pacts. For the first occasion since the pivotal DNA analysis on Helios Drift, Noah experienced something akin to serenity with his unforeseen fate. No longer solely as a throne successor, nor as just a genetic specimen. As a dad, a soulmate, and quite unexpectedly, a connector between realms never intended to intertwine, they approached the calibration chamber. Luma gently placed her hands on the control panel, which instantly glowed, responding to her touch. She glanced at Noah, her eyes filled with anticipation. "Elder Ven believes the wormholes achieve enhanced stability through our collaboration," she clarified, citing something about harmonious genetic resonance. Noah mirrored her action, positioning his hands alongside hers, experiencing the now comforting surge of connection as the interface acknowledged his altered DNA. Solari finalized the circuit, her hands uniting with theirs on the crystalline plane. The chamber resonated with euphoric energy as the wormhole network yielded to their collective essence, not as overlords seizing control, but as custodians of innovation crafted to unite, not sever. "Flawless harmony," Solari remarked, scientific fascination eclipsing regal decorum in her tone. Noah witnessed the energy cascade around them, mirrored in his daughter's gaze and illuminating Solari's countenance. Irrespective of the future's uncertainties, and confronting any hurdles in comprehending their cosmic significance. They would stand united, not bound by ancestral obligations or royal mandates, but by their conscious decision. For in the ultimate analysis, that deliberate choice, surpassing genetics, traditions, and even the sophisticated wormhole network, possessed the utmost power.